Hello and welcome to my presentation of determining budgets. The scope of this presentation is to, in less than 5 minutes, describe the steps required to determine project budget. The structure of the slides has been sourced primarily from PMI's Pembook. By the end of this presentation, we'll end up with a project budget, but there are a number of steps required first. This slide displays all the elements of determining a budget, but breaking down our goals into 3 parts, we have inputs, tools, techniques, and finally our outputs. Taking a closer look at the inputs, number 1 is the cost management plan, which is discussed earlier in section 7.1.3.1. The second input is the scope baseline, comprising of 3 parts. A scope statement clearly outlines what the project is and is not to achieve, repeated directly from the project scope statement. A hierarchical structure of WBS with a WSB dictionary is to follow, detailing the work within each deliverable. Third on the list are activity cost estimates, which are quantitative items including total costs of labour, materials, equipment, services, facilities and others. They are then justified in step 4, the basics of estimations, which asks for the methods used, the lists of assumptions made, and a level of expected accuracy to achieve a confident final estimate. The following items are pretty straightforward, with the project schedule, resource calendars, then of course a risk register exposing the high level risks. The final items for the input stage are any agreements made and organisational process assets. Now we move to tools and techniques, and first up is cost aggregation, which is basically consolidating all the previous estimates into one sum. Next is the reserve analysis, where a project is analysed from a cost overrun perspective and contingencies are established. The final steps here are expert judgment, where a project team presents their work to the senior staff or possibly external, and historical relationships, perhaps a similar project has been completed and can be referred to. Finally, following the funding limit reconciliation. Here we come to outputs, cost baseline, which is improved vision of the time phased project budget on which management reserves are added. Funding requirements may not be consistent throughout the project's phases. Management of that is pretty important. Then finally, the project document updates. Yeah, thank you for listening.